Oh, these are my trim pieces here. They go on the corners of the shed over there. So what I've done is I've pre-drilled about 16 inches along these on both sides, on both faces. And this is just to prevent the wood from splitting. Not that there is really a chance of that because it's new and it's not too dry, but I don't want it to split, so I pre-drilled the holes. Alright, so I've got all my trim installed here, and as you can see on this piece here, I've left a little gap between the top of the trim and underneath the roof. And that's just to allow my cedar strips, which are going to cover underneath here, to have a spot to go, and it's going to make a nice clean transition between the trim and the roof. Now, the reason why I had a piece of 1/4 inch plywood on and then I put the trim on is because the way my siding overlaps, this is a 1/4 inch and this is 3/4 of an inch, so it's a total of an inch. And if I didn't have that little buffer strip behind, my siding would actually sit outside or over the edge of the trim, which wouldn't look very good. So by having that little buffer, my siding is the farthest point out, and it's going to look real nice along the sides. So I've installed my starter strips here, and that's just to make sure that the first layer of siding is angled out a little bit from the wall, just like all the ones above it. Alright, so we're cutting the siding here. I've got a little jig set up here. So what I do is I slide my board nice and tight there. I line it up on the back, make sure it's nice and straight along here. And then I hold it down and I cut. And you can see that there's a shadow that shows me exactly where my line is. And then the boards come over here where my mom is painting the ends. And my dad labels on the back a certain number. For example, this one's L12, which means it's on the left-hand side here, and it's the 12th board up the wall, so it'll be about right here. And I have 13, 14 to cut, and then yeah, we're pretty much done the right side and the left, and then we'll be cutting thinner boards for the side here. So one of the tools I've been using when putting on the siding is this little, I think it's called a story pole. Basically what it does is it hooks onto my little furring strips that go along the horizontal axis there, and it basically shows the bottom of each layer of siding. And I use this on each side, so basically at any corner, when you look at it from a diagonal, all of the siding lines up perfectly, and you're not going to have, you know, one wall where the siding is slightly above or below the lines on the other one. So yep, it's looking pretty good. Another one of the tricks we've been using is I made these little jigs. I made two that are exactly the same. Basically it hooks under the last piece that you just did, and then that way you can rest the next piece right in this little place here, and that gives you the perfect spacing between them so that you're consistent all the way up. So what I'm doing here is on these top boards, I am cutting off a little bit so that they look like this. So when I put them on the shed over here, they're gonna have the same reveal, the 6.5 inches face showing, and then that top part here is gonna be the same as this beam. So it's gonna be a nice cap piece over there, and these pieces are gonna fit nice snug in like that.